Uttamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki Shrunatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridayantastho Hyabadrani Vidunoti Suhrutam. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 7th chapter, verse number 14. Share my screen. Please let me know if you're not able to see. Ashesha Sanklesha Samam Vidyate Gunanuvada Shravanam Murare Kim va punastas Charanaravinda Parag Sevaratiratmalabdha Ashesha Sanklesha Samam Vidyate Gunanuvada Shravanam Murare Kim va punastacharanaраvinda Parag Sevaratiratmalabdha Ashesha Sanklesha Samam Vidyate Gunanuvada Shravanam Murare Kim va punastacharanaраvinda Parag Sevaratiratmalabdha. Synonyms: Ashesha, unlimited; Sanklesha, miserable conditions; Samam, cessation; Vidyate, can perform; Gunanuvad, of the transcendental name, form, qualities, pastimes, entourage, and paraphernalia, etc. Shravanam, hearing and chanting; Murare, of Murari, Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead; Kimva, what to speak of; Puna, again; Tat, his; Charana Ravinda, lotus feet; Parag Seva, to the service of the flavorful dust; Rati, attraction; Atmalabdha, those who have gained such self achievement. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Simply by chanting and hearing of the transcendental name, form, etc. of the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, one can achieve the cessation of unlimited miserable conditions. Therefore, what to speak of those who have attained attraction for serving the flavor of the dust of the Lord's lotus feet? Purport: two different methods for controlling the material senses are recommended in the Vedic scriptural wisdom. One of them is the process of jnana, or the path of philosophical understanding of the Supreme, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. The other is that of the direct engagement in the transcendental, loving, devotional service of the Lord. Of these two most popular methods, the path of devotional service is recommended here as the best, because one on the path of devotional service does not have to wait for the attainment of the fruitive results of pious activities or for the results of knowledge. The two stages of executing devotional service are: first, the stage of practicing devotional service with our present senses under the regulation of recognized scriptures, and second, attaining sincere attachment for serving the practical particles of the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. The first stage is called sadhana bhakti, or devotional service for the neophyte, which is rendered under the direction of pure devotee. And the second stage is called raga bhakti, in which the mature devotee automatically takes to the various services of the Lord out of sincere attachment. The great sage Maitreya now gives the final answer to all the questions of Vidura. Devotional service to the Lord is the ultimate means to mitigate all the miserable conditions of material existence. The path of knowledge or that of the mystic gymnastics may be adopted as a means for the purpose. But unless mixed with bhakti or devotional service, they are unable to award the desired result. By practicing sadhana bhakti, one may gradually rise to the point of raga bhakti. And by performing raga bhakti in loving transcendental service, one can even control the supreme powerful Lord. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वतदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी ऋकबानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नित्यानंद अवधूतेन्द्र वसत प्राण वल्लभ जानव जीवित पति कृष्ण प्रेम पदत प्रभु मावती सुत श्रीमान सचिनंदन पूर्वज भावन्मुक्त जगत्राता रक्त गौर कलेवर। नमो नमो अनिरुद्धाय ऋषिकेश इंद्रियात्मने नमः परमहंसाय पूर्णाय निवृतात्मने स्वर्गपर्गद्वाराय नित्यं शुचिसदे नमः। नमः हिरण्यवीर्याय चातुर्होत्राय तन्तवे ओम नमो भगवते नरसिंहाय नमस्तेजस्तेजसे आविर्भव वज्रनक वज्रदंस्त कर्माशयान रंदय रंदय तमो ग्रस ग्रस स्वाहा। ओम अभयम अभयम आत्मनि भूयिष्ठाम ओम शम। Hare Krishna. So, first of all, I'd like to pay my obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnavas and seek their blessings so that I can speak something which adds some value to this day. Also, like to thank Madhupati Prabhu and pay my humble obeisances to his lotus feet. That when he ordered me to speak on this verse, he also empowered me, gave his blessings. Today is a very auspicious day. It's Pandava Nirjal Ekadashi, a wonderful day when Bhima Bhimasen asked Vyasadeva that I am not able to perform all these, observe these Ekadashi Vrata as per all the restrictions and regulations mentioned. However, all my brothers are able to. So, how will I achieve the desired goal? So, Vyasadeva told him that that's fine if you are not able to observe all the other Ekadashis, but at least if you observe this Nirjal Ekadashi, this is in the summer of much more hot in India during this period. Here it's not so much so that. But uh, if you observe this Ekadashi, you will be equally benefited. So it's very important day, very auspicious day. Also, today is International Yoga Day. Uh, Now, some people observe it as what Prabhupada is mentioning here, mystic gymnastics day. But we, with the mercy of all the previous acharyas, especially His Divine Grace, we know that the meaning of yoga is to connect with the Supreme. So let us all take this opportunity and uh, try to engage ourselves in devotional service, which is the theme of this last few verses of uh, Srimad Bhagavatam. We are just to give a little context. We have reached to the first. We started where Mahatma Vidur is Mahatma Vidur is actually started inquiring from Maitreya Muni. Before that, he met Uddhava, and even before that, this Uddhava is talking to Sri Krishna just before his departure, and with with some prarabdha, Maitreya Muni happens to be present there, and he listens to all that conversation. And just by that presence there, and then sadhu sangha there, he is uh, he is now positioned into a he has become a perfect devotee, and he is positioned uh, where when Mahatma Vidur expresses his desire to become disciple of Uddhava, he redirects him towards Maitreya Muni, and thus he actually meets Maitreya Muni, and then he is inquiring about the Lord. He starts by inquiring about the creation part, um, and then that teaches us that how we should actually approach Srimad Bhagavatam, that we should equally be trying to understand whom we are, how this creation works. And there are 10 subject matters of Srimad Bhagavatam, and in the previous verses, we have seen how Maitreya Muni is talking about the creation. Now, here, this last two, three verses have been the focus of Poshanam subject matter of uh, the Srimad Bhagavatam. The how Lord takes care of devotees. That's that's what is being described here, that if we see that simply by chanting and hearing the transcendental name, form, etc. of the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, one can achieve the cessation of unlimited miserable conditions. So here's the proof. This is Srimad Bhagavatam saying, we have heard so many times that uh, Krishna's names are so powerful. In fact, it acharyas explain that we do not have capacity to perform so much sin that one single name of Krishna cannot eradicate it. It's so powerful. Krishna's one name is so powerful. Uh, Even Shikshashtakam says the Namna Akari Bahudha Nija Sarva Shakti Tatrarpita Niyamita Smaranena Kala. Krishna has put in all his potencies in his names, and that's what he has actually uh, that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has recommended for this Kali Yuga. And what to speak of pure name chanting. Even Namabhas has so much power. And we all know the story of Ajamil, that how he was delivered just by the Namabhas. That this is uh, a story which Prabhupada also created as book. He created many he created books out of many books out of Srimad Bhagavatam's special messages, like Kunti Devi's prayers, then Lord Kapila's instructions. Similarly, um, Ajamil's story is also written in a book form. It's a very important story. And what happens that there's a Brahmana boy, and then his father was very compassionate. He will teach him, try to engage him in devotional service, try to um, engage him in Vaidhi Bhakti. But um, because of some certain circumstances, he got into a bad company, and then he marries as a prostitute. And he then deviates from his religiosity, and then he starts engaging into all these sinful activities, just to please the please his wife, um, who was a prostitute. And he'll go steal things, and he will perform all those, and he actually deviated from his daily work, perform all those abominable activities. But one thing he did good was that his youngest son, he named him Narayan, and he was very compassionate. Generally, parents are very compassionate towards their kids, especially the youngest one. And uh, and that's how he was. And then he will actually all the time, play with him, engage him. He'll keep calling his name. And when the time came, Yamadutas approached him, and then they tried to pull his soul away from his body, and then take him for the punishment. But right at that time, looking at Yamadutas, Ajamil became very afraid, and then he called out his son who was playing nearby, Narayan. You see, he's not calling Supreme Lord Narayan, he's calling his son Narayan. But just by that, Vishnu Dutas immediately arrived there, and they stop him. They stop Yamadutas, and then Yamadutas say that, oh, who are you and how can you stop us? You do not know that we are the servants of Yamraj, and who looks after all this matter, so you cannot stop us. But uh, then um, Yamadutas and Vishnu Dutas get into a discussion. It's a wonderful, sixth Srimad Bhagavatam, sixth canto. First, second, third chapters. These are the ones which are focusing on this story. If you want to read the reference, um, so there, this wonderful discussion that Vishnu Dutas asked that, what do you think is religiosity and what is non-religiosity, and then what is the basis of your punishment, all that. And in that debate, they defeat Vishnu Dutas defeat Yamadutas. Okay? And they take they send them away, and then keep the soul in the body of Ajamila. Ajamila doesn't die after that. And this is from here we can see that how, just by the uh, namabhas, just by the dinch of taking Krishna's name, he, Ajamila is saved. There are other examples, other stories as well. For example, Valmiki ji, he was actually not even saying Ram, he was saying Mara, but because in the cycle Ram, 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 it sounded Ram. And then Lord is so compassionate that even by that he says um, that, okay, fine, you're taking my name. And then made him pure devotee. Um, Acharya says that Lord is so compassionate that if somebody is saying Raja Mahishi, then he picks up the Ra from Raja and Ma from Mahishi and then adds them together and says that, okay, uh, they are saying Ram, taking my name. So even Nama Bhas is so powerful. So what to speak of the pure japa? And just by that um, association, Ajamil had a very small association he had with the Vishnu Dutas, who are the pure devotees of the Lord. He immediately gave up all his sinful activities. He went to Haridwar, engaged himself in the devotional service of the Lord, and then made his life perfect. So this is very important that we can only develop love for the lotus feet of Lord if we are into sadhu sangha. So we have to keep that in mind and always, always, always engage in sadhu sangha. Never, never, ever leave an opportunity to associate with devotees. This will be, um, otherwise, this becomes a regret for life. I'm telling it from personal experience that the moment you have any opportunity to serve any Vaishnava, please take that up. Even Ramcharitmanas says that, तात स्वर्ग अपवर्ग सुख धैर्य तुला एक अंग तुलन ताहि सखल मिली jo sukh lay satsang. So satsang is it can outweigh the pleasures of swarga upwarg. Swarg, heavenly planets. Upwarg is the comfort, the pleasure, entertainment provided there. And then even that can be outweighed by the uh, a moment of association with the devotee. Now, what is the association of a devotee? That again, becomes um, becomes a point worth pondering. Then association with the devotee is where there is some amount of Krishna Katha. Of course, we all are, most of us are in householder life, so we have to take care of kids, family, parents, other relatives, and then engage with them. So we can't be reclusive. But at the same time, while we are associating, we make sure that we bring in some form of Krishna Katha, some form of Krishna is in the center, and then that makes it sadhu sangha. So that's the uh, what do you call pehchan, or that is the indication that sadhus are meeting, that there is Krishna Katha. Now, um, so never ever miss an opportunity to serve Vaishnava and devotee Lord. As soon as we have an opportunity, please jump onto that. Then bhakti. Okay? That's another. That's the theme which Prabhupada explained in the purport. That there are two types of bhaktis: um, sadhana bhakti and uh, raga bhakti, ragatmika bhakti. Sometimes sadhana bhakti is also called Vaidhi bhakti. So this process is very purifying process. It's being engaged in the under the we are being engaged under the direction of Vaishnavas, Acharyas, Shastra, performing some kind of devotional service. Okay? And then it shouldn't be at the breakneck speed that we don't want to burn ourselves. Um, so we have to be cautious in that front. But at the same time, whatever effort we can actually spare and then engage ourselves in the service of the Lord, that's going to be achaladhan. That's a that's a property which nobody can take from us. Once it is done, it's there forever. So we have to uh, engage ourselves. And then it's so simple. Sometimes acharyas say that bhakti is so simple that we can miss it. No, it's so very simple process. It's as simple as that, not doing your daily course of activity as much as that even sleeping can become a bhakti, can be a devotional service. If one has to go in the morning for Mangala Seva and then is sleeping early, then right from the sleeping to that person doing his nitya karma, taking bath, wearing tilak, wearing dress, all that is under the devotional service. And then going and then doing seva. Raising kids, trying to make them Krishna consciousness. Cooking prasadam, cooking bhoga for Krishna and then offering, eating prasadam, all that, this all can be dovetailed as part of bhakti. Um, Opening up our houses for Vaishnavas, serving them, hosting programs. All these are, all these can be categorized as bhakti. Uh, uh, just that, as it is said in the Shastra, that um, Sarvopadhi Vinirmuktam Tat Pravartena Nirmalam, without any kind of expectations and without any kind of position. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti. Just engaging our senses into the service of Rishikesh, the master of the senses. That's what is bhakti. And with that, this Prabhupada, as in this verse, Maitreya Muni is saying, same thing Lord Brahma is also saying, that Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhakta. One cannot achieve Lord Krishna by reading Shastras, but can very simply achieve him by performing devotional service. So, uh, and then japa. So now this is the yuga dharma, which is and that's what is we learned from the story of Ajamil. Maitreya Muni's instructions to Lord Vidura. As Mahatma Vidura is asking that what is the cause of the distress? Um, and that's what his question is to Maitreya Muni. What is the cause of the distress to the human being? And Maitreya Muni is saying that he's giving simple answer that uh, first is that not understanding our position, not understanding that we are the spirit soul, uh, is causing. But and then he doesn't go into the details. So he's kind of saying us that there's no point in trying to understand that, oh, why I'm in a miserable situation. But he's giving a remedy that please engage in the devotional service, become a Atma Bhakta. Okay? And take the names of the Lord, because they have the power to uh, you know us. It's wonderful words. I want to go back to that. It's saying that ashesa sanklesha. Ashesa means unlimited. So the name has power to one name has power to eradicate all the sanklesha, all the miserable conditions, unlimited miserable conditions. It's a wonderful thing. It's, um, so Krishna is giving this assurance that pratijana hi na me bhaktya pranashyati. Go and then declare. He's not saying to Arjuna that okay, hide. No, no, he's saying that go and declare that na me bhaktya pranashyati. My devotees do not perish. So then Shikshashtakam is also saying same thing. Cheto darpan marjanam bhav mahadavagni nirvapanam. It's Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. All glories to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which does the marjanam of the Cheta, and then Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. Then gives the comfort from the this Mahadavagni. So that's keep tab of time. So I'm sorry I went 1 minute over, but I'll quickly summarize the lessons. Then first is that we guard against the 10 offenses. Uh, the japa. Perform devotional service. Do not miss an opportunity to perform this. Okay, and then stay in sadhu sangha. And then finally, the develop bhakti for the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha Shyam Sundar. So please take this opportunity. Wonderful day, Panda Nirjal Ekadashi and International Yoga Day, and then try to connect to Lord. Sorry, I went 1 minute over. Madhupati Prabhuji, over to you.
Thank you very much, Akhilesh Krsna Babu. So, any questions and comments, you can take it in the